once I got that successfully, I was like, oh, I did it. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, I have. I'm very careful. I make sure that I go through all the reviews and make sure to do multiple pictures. 'Cause I don't like to get sand. That one had me going for a minute for sure.
Yeah.
But I do. I have a package I'm waiting for right now. It's a Hoya and Delata, a Spartanoides, like the Hoya with the really long, like, looks like sticks with the
Yeah.
little,
That's so
little
cool.
orange sonars at the end. And what else did I get? That was a bunch. You'll
Yeah.
see. We're gonna post all of them. That
I
one's gonna
love
be a
that.
good
Have
one.
you always been into Hoyas?
Um, yeah, I
Yeah.
have because they're sturdy. I like sturdy plant. Once I figured
Right.
out how to, I always loved toys, the balloons. They're all so unique and different, and that's what got me. And the fact that if you can get into balloon, it's like a feat, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I got into Voyage, like Pokemon. You want to collect them, and they're also different, and they can live
Yeah.
forever. Like they're heirloom plants. Like you can pass them down. They could outlive you, which is another reason I love them so much.
Yeah. I have a friend. Actually, my friend Laura. She's a farmer, and I had her on the podcast recently, and I asked her what her favorite plant was, and it was a Hoya that was her grandmother's that she remembers seeing when she was a kid. Her sister actually got it, but she got cuttings of it, thank God, because her sister killed it. But in the podcast, she was like, "Oh yeah, I'll send you a picture," and I was amazed. It's like huge and decades old. It's so cool. And like you said, they each have a different bloom and a different scent, and the
It-
leaves can be so different from just um, you know the smaller leaved ones to the big plate Hoyas.
right?
So interesting. Yeah.
And the veins and the texture and some are fuzzy and there's just yeah variations. Like I just can't get over them. You can collect into the thousands. I think there's so many
It's
now,
insane. There's so many varieties. That's insane.
isn't it?
Um, it's funny because I feel like that genius of plants as well as like orchids. I have so many friends too that are like, oh, I've mastered the orchid and I can get it to rebloom.
Yeah.
Plants are so fun because they're living but yet also like an experiment. You don't really know, you
Oh
just got to give it some love. And
yeah.
what would you say is your favorite plant in your
Oh,
collection?
it's so hard to say. Um, I want to say like the sentimental ones, like I
Yeah.
have this plant that was in my dad's house forever. Like I remember it, it's just a baby. I thought it was a pothos my whole life, and it was on top of this fetch that I have here. It's the same hutch too that was in my dad's house. He had this big plant on it that he got for moving in like a housewarming unit, and it sat there
Yeah.
forever. And when I moved into my dad's house, it, that ghost out from earlier, I took it because I was like, I remember that I want it, and they're not doing it. It was just dying. Turns
Yeah.
out it
Yeah.
wasn't a condos. It was just a sad in one stare that was reaching for light. The leaves were so tiny and the stems were so long. So I wasn't as a keen eye like I have today. But it for sure is in one stare, a deliciosa. And it's not hot those. And yeah, so that one might be my favorite just because of the story behind it and how old it is.
Yeah.
And we cut it, and there's babies. They have like a cutting from it. I just have to imitate the lawn.
That's
And
awesome.
yeah, so that one might be my fave just for the sentimental value. But this one right here, I brought up in case you asked me, is another one of my favorites. This pink Birkin.
Ooh,
Yeah, and
pink Birkin.
yeah, when I got it, it didn't. I mean, I just got it because it was pink, and I was on a pink train. But I thought it was gonna revert. I just thought it was a normal old Birkin maybe, but it keeps getting me these crazy pink I guess he days too. You see that in there?
Stunning.
Anyway, I never see it anywhere. So this one's really got a special
Yeah, I've
place in
never
my
even
heart.
heard of it before.
Yeah, I don't know if it's like,
You found it at a nursery.
and then I may, like the King Congo's like safe or whatever. But it does keep giving out pink. Yeah, I got it at no, I find it at Green River Handfuls. He's like the by Fire Nursery Garden Center in San Diego.
You're in Southern California.
I am. I am in Southern California.
So
All the
you're
way on the other
in the
side.
good grow zone.
Really great grow zone. Like this Northern County San Diego area is like a mecca for plant people. And
Yeah.
I didn't even realize how lucky I was until I started getting into this plant world. Like 20 minutes and I have so many awesome growers. It's crazy.
Yeah. Lindsay, you mentioned about your sobriety. Do you feel that plants have played a role in your healing and just your everyday mental health with caring for them?
100%. It's something to take care of and nurture. And the parallels that I've found while taking care of the plants with ourselves, I found so many parallels while taking care of them. Like even just giving them water and the quality of water that I give them. They perk right up. It's like it reminds me I need to drink water. If that's what water does for these, oh my gosh, imagine what it does for actually the human body. And fertilizing it and make sure it's nutrients and just the way that I take care of plants is like how I should be taking care of myself. When I heard
Yeah.
you use your intro, I think to this podcast, it's so what's going on in my head. I relate to it wholeheartedly. I love it so much. And yes, it's helped me stay sober. It's something really should do. It keeps me
Yeah.
busy, it keeps my mind going. Because I've always been like that though. I've always had something that it has my mind and hands working because I need
Right.
that. I got this addicted personality. So, but mostly it was vintage clothes and jewelry, as you can see. I love to collect jewelry too. Um, and then bingo. Oh my gosh. At one point it was bingo. I was flying to different states to go to bingo
What?
bashes. Yeah, like with my grandma. My Nana is my sidekick. My grandma's my best friend in the whole world.
I
And
love it.
yeah, she was, oh, well, she started taking me to bingo when I was like 16. She started like sneaking me in. And she would, if anyone tried to card me, she'd be like, oh, you think I would bring in an underage child? Get out of here. Shoo, shoo, shoo. And so she groomed me for sure to be this bingo player with her. But when I moved in to my dad's house, I couldn't play like I wanted to. So I had to get rid of bingo. And farming it was. And so it's always something's always been there for her. Always.
Yeah.
Even in NA and AA, when I was doing the meetings, getting sober, like maybe 4 months in, I was starting an NA meeting on Thursday nights because there wasn't one and we needed to do it. And so I think this is just me. I got to have something to keep me going. And
Yeah. It's called a visionary. You're a visionary. So you see it and you do it.
yeah, I guess
It
so.
is a
So
beautiful thing.
thank you. I'll try his one too.
Thank you. I love that you said that you connected with the intro because it's so true. Like, and I think I as well can relate. I have a addictive personality. Like, I have all these tattoos of hair things, a blow dryer and scissors. Like, I moved to New York to become a fashion hairstylist, and it was just that was my whole life, like everything. And then I got into wigs during the pandemic, and I had thousands of wigs that I created. But with plants, there was a switch. There was I didn't feel, although I loved what I was doing in New York, and I do feel very passionate about it, and I was good at what I did. I don't feel the way that I feel when I look at a plant. It's something like you said, the parallels. It's beautiful. You said, you know, I give it the good water. And you, Lindsay, and me, Wade, we're deserving of the good water. Like sometimes we just, forget about our own self care. And you're right. Like the parallels of plants are so important to just take that moment sometimes. And
As you
yeah,
do it, you're doing it. Look at you.
yeah, thanks.
Podcast. I'm so proud of you too. Congrats on it.
Thank you. I love that you said that you connected with the intro because it's so true. Like, and I think I as well can relate. I have a addictive personality. Like, I have all these tattoos of hair things, a blow dryer and scissors. Like, I moved to New York to become a fashion hairstylist, and it was just that was my whole life, like everything. And then I got into wigs during the pandemic, and I had thousands of wigs that I created. But with plants, there was a switch. There was I didn't